Welcome to AP Statistics. Today we are exploring Topic 1.3, Tabular Representation and Summary Statistics for one categorical variable. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to organize raw categorical data into clear tables and use those tables to justify claims about a population. Remember, a categorical variable is something that places an individual into a group, like eye color, grade level, or type of pet. Since we cannot calculate an average for categories like dog or cat, we use tables to summarize how often each category occurs. Our first goal is to understand how to build a frequency table. The word frequency simply means count. A frequency table shows the number of observational units that fall into each category of our variable. Imagine we survey 6 students about their favorite fruit. To turn this raw data into a frequency table, we list the unique categories and count how many times each appears. Notice how the total of the frequencies equals our total sample size, which is 6. This is a simple but essential way to see the distribution of our data at a glance. Now, counts are great, but sometimes we want to know what part of the whole each category represents. This brings us to the relative frequency table. The term relative frequency is just a fancy way of saying proportion. To find it, we take the frequency of a category and divide it by the total number of observations. Let's use our fruit data again. We had 6 total students. For apples, the relative frequency is 3 divided by 6, which is 0.50. For bananas, it's 2 divided by 6, or approximately 0.33. And for oranges, 1 divided by 6 is about 0.17. A very important check: the sum of your relative frequencies should always add up to 1 or 100%, though it might be slightly off due to rounding. It is important to recognize that in AP Statistics, several terms provide the same information. Whether a question asks for a percentage or a proportion, you are essentially looking at the same relationship. Looking back at our Apple data, the proportion was 0.50. If we multiply that by 100, we get the percentage, 50%. We could also express this as a ratio, 1 to 2 students preferred apples. Relative frequencies are particularly helpful when comparing 2 groups of different sizes. If Group A has 25 people who like apples, and Group B has 100, Group B has a higher count. However, the relative frequency shows that apples are actually more popular in Group A, where 50% like them, compared to only 20% in Group B. Take a moment to think, which measure is more useful for comparing the popularity of a brand across 2 different cities? Always think about the context. If the cities have different populations, relative frequencies are usually the way to go. The ultimate goal of creating these tables is to justify claims about the data in context. In AP Statistics, you will often be asked to support a statement using the numbers you have calculated. Let's look at our claim. Most students prefer apples over any other single fruit. To justify this, we look at our table. We can justify this claim by stating that the relative frequency of apples, which is 50%, is higher than the relative frequency of bananas at 33% and oranges at 17%. Be careful! With a sample size of only 6 students, we can only make claims about this specific group. We cannot say most people in the world prefer apples because our sample is too small to represent everyone. We have now covered how to construct one-variable tables and use summary statistics to describe them. Frequency tables show counts. Relative frequency tables show proportions. Use these to compare groups and support claims. You are ready to start organizing categorical data.